So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at 1 through 10 for your review packet. Just a reminder, you can have a one-page piece of paper, front and back, with formulas on it. So as we're going over this, if there's a formula that I say to use, or for example, the steps for graphing quadratic equations or something like that, you can have it written down. You cannot have any examples. Okay? So no numbers on there, just formulas. Also, all your late work, makeup work, missing quizzes, and retakes must be done by Friday. Okay? Anybody have a question about that? Okay? The sheet I will check a week from today to make sure there are nothing on it, and I will initial it, or Ms. Kellerman will initial it, so that we can let you use it on the final. But if you do not have an initialed one, we're not going to let you use it.
Please don't come in the day of the final and you have the initial. It should be done the day before.
Because we won't do it. We won't let you use it.
So you either have it done the day before and we can initial it, or it's just,
And you have a full week starting from right now to do it. So there should be plenty of time. All right, if we're looking at number 1 on your review packet, we've got x plus 3 is greater than negative 3. So the first thing we do is subtract 3 from both sides. And we get x is greater than negative 6. And we should have a number line. Negative 6, x is greater than it, so it should be an open circle. And it should be pointing to numbers that are greater. For example, this would be negative 5.
It's a closed circle? Yes.
Good. Closed circle when it's underlined. Good. Okay, let's look at number 2. This bringing back some memories, guys, with exponents. Oops. Not with exponents, excuse me, with inequalities. Okay, looking at number 2, we've got negative 4x is less than or equal to 12. So what do I do to figure out what x is equal to? Am I going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Yes, Carolyn? Divide. We divide by negative 4. So x, 12 divided by negative 4 gives me a negative 3. Remember, when you divide or multiply by a negative, the one that you're moving is a negative, you've got to flip your inequality to face the other direction.
That could be a really quick down if you needed to.
Right. You've got a number line, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1.
This one, your graph is wrong in.
So you're going to have to
Change it.
change it. Okay, so are you going to put an open or closed circle over negative 3? Closed circle over negative 3, and x is greater, so it should be pointing in this direction. So the one on your graph is incorrect, so you would have to change that one. So cross it off. All right, let's look at number 3. We've got 3x plus 7 is less than 28. Somebody want to tell me what the first step is? Yes, Shannon. Subtract 7 from both sides. Good. And I get 3x is less than 21. Jasmine, you want to tell me what the next step is? Divide by 3. And what would I get, Jasmine? X is less than 7. So my graph would look like open or closed circle. Open circle because it's not underlined. And x is less than it. It doesn't have a graph specifically for here, but we know what that would look like. Any questions so far about 1 through 3? One of the things that Ms. Kellerman and myself told you could write down on your review sheet is that if you divide or multiply by negative, you have to flip the inequality. So that might be something good to write on there. Okay, if we're looking at number 4, we've got 3x plus 1 is less than or equal to x minus 7. Okay? Taylor, what step might you do first?
Subtract 1.
Subtract 1. So you get 3x is less than or equal to x minus 8. Josh, what might I do next for number 4? Before that, do I have all the x's on the same side?
You would subtract the 1x.
Subtract the 1x, good. Which would give us 2x is less than or equal to negative 8. Tristan, what would I do next? Divide both sides by 2, and what would you end up having, Tristan? Perfect. X is less than or equal to negative 4. Which is that one of your options? So you would choose E, none of the above. Do you have a question, Jasmine? All right, for number 5, we have x is greater than negative 2 and less than 1. So let's think about how that might be written. X is greater than negative 2. What does greater than mean? What does that sign look like? Would I be eating the x or eating the number? X is greater than negative 2. Eating the x, okay. And less than 1. So x is greater than negative 2, but less than 1. First of all of a sudden this doesn't make as much sense. I'm going to put x in the middle, negative 2 over here and 1 over here. Because I like it to go from the smallest to the biggest. Well, I know that it's eating the x over here, but now it's less than 1. So which way would the alligator be eating, the 1 or the x? The 1. Which is B on your paper. Okay? Does that make sense how I kind of figured that out? Yes? No? Alright, for 6, I've got 3 is less than or equal to x plus 3, which is less than 8. So let me ask you guys this question. Who separated this into 2 different problems? Anybody? Everybody else just did everything on all sides? Okay. All right, Lawrence, what would you do to get x by yourself for this equation? Subtract 3 from everything, right? So there should be 3 subtracting 3's. You end up with 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 5. Which would be A. Let's look at 7. X minus 3 is greater than 2, or 2x minus 5 is less than or equal to 3. Okay. Nick, how did you start this one off? Minus 3 or add 3? Add 3. So you got x is greater than 5. And on the other side, what'd you do, Nick? Plus 5? So you get 2x is less than or equal to 8. And Jasmine, what did you do next? How do you get rid of the x right here? Divide by 2 so the x is by itself. So x is less than or equal to 4. So x should be greater than 5 or less than or equal to 4. So it should be A. So far, are there anything about inequalities that you have questions with? We know that if we divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality sign. If it's underlined, we have to fill in the circle. Okay. Let's look at 8 then. Looking at absolute value of x equals 13. What numbers could we stick in for x into that absolute value sign and come out with a positive 13? Harley, which one did you choose for number 8? A, B, C, or D? C, because it could be positive 13 or negative 13. Plug either one of those in there and get out 13. Remember, because anything you put in the absolute value sign has to come out positive. All right. Shannon, for number 9, I've got 2x minus 1 absolute value equals 9. How would you solve that problem, Shannon? You could add 1. The first thing I would do is split it up, because you have 2x minus 1 equals 9. What is the other thing that it could have equaled? Negative 9. So we've got 2x minus 1 equals negative 9. So yeah, you would start by adding 1, and you get 2x equals 10, and dividing by 2, and you get x equals 5. But you've still got the other side. We add 1, we get 2x equals negative 8, divide by 2, and x equals negative 4. So the one that has 5 and negative 4 would be C. So now we're going to use an absolute value with a inequality sign. Absolute value of 4 plus x is less than 12. So Nika, what's the first thing I would do here? Because my answer could come out 12, or what's the other possibility? So I would make 2 inequalities. 4 plus x is less than 12, and 4 plus x is greater than negative 12. Now what would I do to get x by itself, Nika? Subtract 4. So x is less than 8. Subtract 4, subtract 4. X is greater than 16. Negative 16. So that would be A. Any questions so far about 1 through 10? We will do 11 through 20 tomorrow. Your homework tonight is page 379 all.